Good morning, beautiful people, and welcome to another episode of Daily Motivations for African American Success. Good morning, Brandon.
Good morning,
Bebop,
Mama. How
how's
you doing? Going good,
good?
going good. You're doing beautiful.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good, y'all. I am great, y'all. I spent some time in the war room this morning, like some real time. So I feel like I've been, I don't know, revised.
Good, good.
Whew, refreshed in a deep, deep way. So I'm good. I'm good. Miss Brenda says, great everything, great people. Happy Thursday. Auntie Richetta says, good morning, butterfly and nephew and family. And she sends those hearts and kisses, you guys. So thank you guys for jumping in early and rocking with us. You know, the early bird gets the worm, right?
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
guess we.
So
I guess we the worm.
we the worm this morning.
hmm
Now. But thank you guys, Facebook watchers. See, we got some people out on YouTube YouTube as well. So thank you guys for rocking with us. Brandon, what you got from yesterday?
As far as how my yesterday went, it went good. It went good. Stuck around a little bit more the house than I expected to. So my wife was a little under the weather, not feeling so good. So I filled whatever gaps I could. Um, but we did good, made it work. I ended up being able to go to train later on, and got a little, sore from training. Man, that's the main. Thank you. That's the main thing from yesterday is just getting some good sleep after all that training because I trained hard last night. So I got a fight coming up in September, um, in Tampa, Florida. So I'll be keeping y'all updated about that. I've already told my mother, so she was let down easy. But I'll be flying to Tampa, Florida for an MMA fight. So just training hard, licking the wounds, putting ice on stuff, and getting some good sleep.
There you go. Just be
That,
ready for it. Just be
yeah,
ready.
yeah,
Go
yeah,
do what
yeah.
you gotta do and come back like you went. That's all I
Yes,
got.
man.
That's all I got to say.
Yes,
How
man. But
about
I had a lot of fun with the kids too. I did a lot of kids call them daddy games. So we got a little basketball hoop in the house, and so we play a little basketball, and then we did some jujitsu. I taught the kids how to put me in a triangle choke from sitting on my head. So I got that on, and it was good. They love it. They
I
love
bet
it.
Pop surely did, didn't he?
Yeah, Kitana actually has probably the better squeeze as of right now, just because she's so long. But yeah, they wrap their legs around my throat and showed them how to do it, and they love it. So we do jujitsu games, but they call them daddy games. Had a good time.
Wow. I have to share, made me think about it, and we'll get going, you guys here, but y'all will love this. What's the young lady's name that does the gymnastics? Brandy, you know, I can't
Simone Biles.
Simone Bias. So we showed Zali has started this. She loves to flip and just climb. I mean, it's hilarious. And you're always telling her to stop and get down, right? Because she wants to go high. So I was like, let her watch, the gymnastics here on the Olympics. This girl, after seeing Simone, y'all, she was getting ready to try to jump from. I have a stand in front of the couch, from the couch, and then she was going to try to roll over on the couch to the back of the couch and land on the behind on some
Some tile.
stuff that will hurt her, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, and she was like, "No, grandma, I can do it." It's like, "Girl, no, stop." So she made it to the couch and she was going to try to flip on over to the behind the couch, right? But it was so, just seeing her to say, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it, to the point where when we were at Chick-fil-A like a day or two later, she was telling the people that she's a ballerina. And she even got up in the middle of the floor and said, "Watch, see?" And she did some turns, ta-da, like that. So I'm like, and one of the ladies asked me, is she in ballet? I was like, no, not yet. She does it at home. But just the mindset of children, they think they can do anything.
Yeah.
Let her watch the Memphis, I guess they call them Memphis Flippers, those young men, older men now too. And they were just truly amazed by what their bodies could do. And Dolly said, "Grandma, he just jumped over all those people." Yes, he did, Solly. So if we would only be a bit more childlike in our faith in ourselves and what we could do, right?
Yeah.
So over to you, Brandon.
I ain't gonna lie, I still got it. I think I can do whatever. I be jumping out of trees and doing whatever. I'm doing the most. You remember I was it you or Joanne that I was at college and y'all Joanne and she was like, I went on YouTube and saw y'all jumping out of
She
trees.
she called me. Yeah, Joanne.
Something else.
You have to meet Joanne, but yeah, she did. She called me. She said, well, I can't tell you all that she said.
If you
But
ever heard
she
of a personal investigator, she's a every person investigator.
and it wasn't quite all the way YouTube. Joanne was a mama, like a nosy mama. She had some stuff set up to where she could tell what they were doing. And she was like, we sending they blank down there to college and they down there jumping out of trees like some blank. Boy, the days. So
We made it though. We made it without injury.
yeah,
I'm telling you. But welcome y'all to the to what day is this? 197? 198? What?
get with it, Brandon.
What day is it?
I
What
told you
day?
that.
No, you didn't. Did you?
197. It's
Yeah.
197. I had to
See,
look
you
it
trying to
up.
play me. See,
Trying to sneak you.
trying to sneak me. Welcome, guys, to the 197th day of the In This Season podcast, where we have been reading through Daily Motivations for African American Success by Dennis Kimbro, the author. If you haven't gotten the book, this is what it looks like, or somewhat what it looks like. Daily Motivations for African American Success with Dennis Kimbro's picture right there. Amazing book, high value, low cost. Mom's book is a little more scratched up. I think she reads it a lot more than I do. Nah, she ordered it like that. But y'all, please get that book. I mean, it's incredible. If you can't make it here every day, at least you'd be able to read it yourself. You'll be able to take the book along with you throughout the day as a reminder. It's a small book. It's not real big and bulky. But the reason we started this was an acknowledgement of Black History Month and seeing what success looked like through the lens of African Americans. What were the motivate? What would motivation and inspiration for our people specifically look like, read like, feel like if we gave it a platform? And we only plan to do this for the 28 days of February. You know, they gave us the shortest year of the month, before the shortest month of the year. But anyway, we ended up extending past that 28 days, and now we're at 197 days. So congrats and hats off to the podcast, to the people who have been here consistently, and the people that just dropped in and gave us a little bit of their time and space. Thank you for allowing us into your home and for being a part of your morning routine. A little bit about this book. This book, Daily Motivations for African American Success, will help you focus on the thoughts, attitudes, and deeds that will lead to the achievement of your true goals. In 365 short, powerful motivations, one for each day of the year, Dennis Kimbro, the author of the popular Think and Grow Rich, A Black Choice, leads us to discover how to use the present moment and our own gifts to transcend labels, cultivate a positive attitude, become wise enough to know when to say yes and when to say no, and to look inward for answers to life's challenges. Now, each motivation begins with words of wisdom from such distinguished and celebrated African Americans as Malcolm X, Marion Wright Elderman, Whoopi Goldberg, Charlene Hunter Galt, Bill Cosby, Carl Rowan, Mother Hale, Reverend Leon Sullivan, who gave us our quote yesterday, and hundreds of others. This treasure trove of practical inspiration will give you fresh encouragement every day of the year, but what it teaches will last you a lifetime. So welcome again, guys, to In This Season podcast. If you can, take a quick second to like this video on YouTube. If you're not on YouTube, click over really quick before the show is over. Like it, subscribe to it, turn on notifications. That helps us out. That helps you out. Without further ado, let's jump right into the show. What do
Right.
you think, Mom?
I'm ready to do
Yeah.
it.
All right. So today, each one of these titles are split up uh, for every single day of the year. So today's August 15th. Our title is Global Warming. Global Warming. And our quote of the day is from the distinguished African American, comes from Joshua L. Smith, the founder of the Maxima Corporation. And he said, as we make it, We've got to reach back and pull up those left behind. As we make it, we've got to reach back and pull up those left behind. In 1977, Guidepost magazine reported the story of a man hiking in the mountains. He was taken by surprise by a sudden snowstorm and quickly lost his way. Since he was not dressed for the dropping temperature, he knew he needed to find shelter fast, or he would freeze to death. Despite all his efforts, he failed to find shelter, and his hands and feet became numb. He knew his time was short. As he wandered in the frozen landscape, he tripped over another man who had succumbed to the bitter cold. The hiker had a decision to make: continue on in hope of saving himself, or try to help this stranger in the snow. In an instant, he made his decision. He threw off his wet gloves, knelt beside the man, and began to massage his arms and legs. The man began to respond, and together they were able to push forward and find help. The hiker was later told that he had helped himself by helping another. The numbness that had stricken him vanished while he was massaging the stranger's arms and legs. On the way to personal fulfillment, others have already helped you or will help you. Many whom you couldn't possibly repay. An old saying comes to mind: don't repay a kindness, pass it on. Chances are, after fulfilling our dreams, we will be called upon to pass on some of what we have learned to others. Jesse Hill, president of Atlanta Life Insurance Company, remarked, "The reason why I stand so tall is because I stand on the shoulders of those who have gone before me." This is equally true of each of us. No matter where life may find us, it is always nice to give others a helpful boost. Every day, I become more convinced that the surest way to reach the summit of my life is to help others reach their summits first. And our affirmation at the bottom of the page reads, "Today, I will find and help someone in need of my support. By helping others, I will help myself." One more time. "Today, I will find and help someone in need of my support. By helping others, I will help myself." Over to you, Mom. What do you think? Global warming.
I don't know. This one is hmm, I don't know, Brandon, because I'm in this season about helping people. And I know this one's talking about personal fulfillment, right? And I get it. I get it. I get it. But at the same time, because because I'm also pondering, how and when do you help people financially, right? And so I had a difficult time. I did read this one this morning, but I had a difficult time um, allowing it to mean what it probably means
Mm,
without um, bringing in the fact, the financial part of it, right? Because I do believe in helping people. Oh gosh, this sun is killing me. I do believe in helping people, but I also,
why don't you move it around so you ain't got to get that sun in your eye?
yeah, let me do that, you guys, because it's killing me. Um, it's not killing me; it's just bothering me. How about that? Is that a little better? That's a little better. So,
Okay.
huh?
I said, okay. I just want to make sure you're good.
Yeah, I did. I did. I moved it. Thank you. Thank you for suggesting that. So I get it. As we make it, we've got to reach back and pull up those left behind. I like that part, as we make it, because we do need to make sure that we're okay. We do need to take care of ourselves first, in the sense of um, being fulfilled, right? Um, there have been times where I have given more than I had for myself internally. right? Given to the point where you lose sight of yourself. This is a different situation, of course, because there's a man there who is in need of your assistance, meaning, and it's something that you can do. But this is a thin line for me today because I'm in situations where I feel like sometimes we hinder people more than we help them. Like if I just give you without trying to help you not be here again, it's like the 30-day challenge that we did. Okay. Imagine again if we would just say, okay, I do have a couple of dollars that I could put in a day, every day. I can make this happen in some way, shape, form, or fashion. And then if I have $50 at the end of these 30 days, opposed to having zero, right? Because some people will say, oh, well, I can't put it all in, so I'm going to do nothing,
Mm.
right? The same with being fulfilled. There takes work. It takes work to come to a place where you feel personally fulfilled. So again, I don't know what to say on this one because I'm battling how comfortable we get with where we are, and in most places not liking where we are, right? How comfortable we get with not saving, not taking on an extra job if you need it. Man, Brandon was in high school, y'all. I mean, and going to college, I did some of everything. Don't even know how, looking back, don't know how I did it. I would leave a job and go to another one, right? I remember when he was, I think I shared this story. I was having this conversation with my dad the other day as well. How I worked my 8 to 5, came home, got Brandon, settled, and worked at FedEx at night from, I guess it was like 10 to 4. Come home, get a few hours of sleep, get up and do it all over again. And I remember going to work at Fed one night, and I got there a little early, and I thought I'm just going to lay back and close my eyes just for about 15 minutes. I woke up when it was time to be getting off. My car had been running the entire time. I slept for 4 hours in the car. And I woke up and I went in, and my boss, she said, go home, Tammy. She said, you would not have driven out here. She said, I believe you, go home. You would not have gotten out your bed and drove out here to just to walk in here and say, because I told her, I said, I came and I was out there asleep. But what, and this is a different situation because again, this man has, you know, a whole different story. But again, it makes me come back to how comfortable we have gotten as a people with handouts, with someone else, with a system, if I may say, taking care of us, with a system putting fathers, making sure that your children's father, that you have to choose your father or getting help, right? And some of us are more than capable, more than capable. I had a man sending me a message, sending me messages about his situation that I don't know, have not met. And he's telling me what he cannot do because of his hips. And I'm saying, bro, it's something you can do. It's something you can do. I see a lady at Walmart, greeter. Man, I would love for her to be home resting. But you know what? She's out doing what she got to do or wants to do. And here I have a man who's like, well, I can't do this because my hip hurt. My hip hurt too. More than my hip hurt. But I ain't gonna tell you I can't do something to make a way for myself. I see people doing things in wheelchairs. I see people doing things with one leg. And here you are with a situation, but you can't do nothing. Well, I can't either. I've learned that everybody ain't my problem, that I can't save everybody. The man here, I would have did the same thing. Let's get out of here together, bro or sister. But it's a thin line for me, Brandon. I don't know. It's a thin line.
No, I understand that. I get that. I think the a big thing that we have to deal with here in the Western world, is, especially as the descendants of people that were brought here, is balance this individualism that's promoted, individual, or I'll call it self-preservation versus collective responsibility, right? So, at what point is it better for me to just focus on me, to just save myself? And at what point is it incumbent upon me to help someone else based on my values and based on what I believe in? Right. And I think we all have to find that balance in place for us individually. But I think there seems to be some, a sense of tribalism that we have, that, there's somebody that's like me or that's in need. And maybe I not help them financially. And maybe I do, but is there something, like in Islam it says that even a smile is charity, right? Like, all of our giving doesn't have to be minimized just to a financial stimulus for the person, right? Sometimes it can be a good word. Sometimes it can be a good ear. Sometimes and there's a difference between a handout and a hand up. I'm very hard. I'm not gonna lie. I'm hard pressed now, especially after coming and visiting other countries. It's difficult for me now when I see an able-bodied person, man, female, whatever, on the side of the road asking for money. And sometimes I feel it. I'm like, hey, I just want to give this to you. But I play the image in my head of children no bigger than my hip juggling in the streets, not even in the streets, but at the border, at the United States and Mexico border, juggling in the streets, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, to get a couple cents, to get $1, to get anything, to entertain the people as they wait in line. Thousands of people, because it's like, I don't know, 6 to 10 lanes going through the border, and they're out here doing something, juggling, washing your car. There's men out there spitting fire, just doing whatever they could to provide for their families. And I see people on the side of a road with a dog, and the dog don't look like it's missed a meal.
Hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So, like, and that might be my own projections, right? But if you're able to work and you're able to be outside panhandling, then you're able to hand somebody something, or get a pan in yours and go cook, or you can do, there's something that you can try to do. And for me, I would want to work. I would want to do something for the
Yeah.
money. I
Yeah.
would want to. And so, just having that one, like, if someone doesn't ask and I give it to them, that's different. But if someone's not doing anything and asking and not seeking to help themselves, then I'm only enabling them and helping them when they won't help themselves. So now their self-preservation is, I'm taking on the responsibility of their self-preservation when they have the capacity to do so themselves. Now, I think in this passage that we read, global warming, that was not the case. The man was incapacitated, so he didn't have the capacity to help himself, and it was a matter of life and death. And as believers, the number one thing that we should protect in this world is life. Life. Protect life. So in that situation, in my belief, if the man would have succumbed while helping someone else, he would have been considered a martyr. He would have been considered. And what is a martyr? Someone, in a theological sense, someone who dies um, in the path of righteousness, dies doing a good deed that risked their life, not voluntarily just putting themselves in harm's way for no reason, but for basically fighting in the cause of God. And that could be saving a life, like someone who's sitting there dying and massaging them and getting the blood back. But if you in that process end up dying, you're considered a martyr. You're considered someone who gave up their life in order to save someone else's. And to those types of people, paradise is promised, you know. But in the case where it's not that dire, it's not that serious, no one's life or death is on the line. You don't have the incentive of, if you save one life, in my faith, if you save one life, it is as if you saved the entire world. And if you take an innocent life, this is Islam, if you take an innocent life, it is as if you have killed the entire world, as if you've taken the life of the entire world. So um, if it's not that serious, then there are other ways to either help them, and maybe the help is in not helping them.
Hmm.
Maybe the help is in talking them through it, but saying, listen, I can't give you this right now. You can do this for it. You can work this for it. You can help me help you. But just putting it in your hand or just giving you what you desire may not be helping you. And sometimes that's the best way. And even thinking about it from a faith-based situation, if you're asking for money to purchase, if you're praying to God for money just to go purchase heroin, right? Then why would you be blessed with that? Why would our creator want to give you that first off? And only we know our true intentions. And so likewise, you know, if you're out there having a sign saying, need help, God bless you. You might need help, but you might not need this kind of help. You may need to go to a detox place, a recovery place. You may need that type of help. You may not need the help of giving you more money to help you do um, what got you in that situation, right?
Brandon, can I ask you a question right there?
Mm-hmm.
So, so for sure, this is a different situation, but for our listeners and for you, Brandon, how do you help people? I'm going to give an example, and y'all tell me because it may just be me. But after a while, let's say if someone continues to come to you for assistance financially, and it appears that they're living larger than you, meaning, um, for me, I make the sacrifices. I don't go spend money on getting my nails done. I feel like that's something I can do myself. Purchase the equipment that I need to do that. You can buy that, and the cost you spend to go and do that. And now I'm talking men and women, because I see men sitting there just as I do women. Um, say so. How do you continue, or do you continue to help someone financially who is not a good steward over their finances? Right? Say for instance, if people are every other month or so asking you to borrow money, but you see them, they are Gucci'd up, they got on a fresh new pair of Nikes about every other month, shopping more than you, and you work 40, 50 hours. How do you approach those people in those situations?
Like this, no.
Family, friends?
Like this, no. No. Go have a yard sale.
Okay, Brandon. Okay. All right. That's a good answer. All right.
I mean, I mean, it's
I'd
it's
like to
real
hear
cut
from
dry and
some of the
simple.
others as well.
It's
Because,
real simple. You know, there's no reason there's no reason to play with people or let people play with you. You know what I mean? Or play with themselves. Play themselves. I mean, they're looking at it. That's their income. You ain't the only one. You probably ain't give them enough of that Gucci, but it within that next month, if they kind of knew it, that you was just a line item on their income statement.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And
Okay.
usually when they hit you up, they've exhausted all of their other family members probably too much, and friend members. Those people might be tired of giving them something. And if that person is you, then analyze why you're in that situation. We're not keeping up with ourselves. And I'm speaking to myself first on a number of different things. Like, are we really keeping up with ourselves? Where did the money go? How was it spent? You know, was it just food? And if it was, what kind of food? Did you guys eat out 20 days out of that month?
And,
As
and and I get it,
opposed to
Brandon.
getting food and cooking it?
Right. I get it. So people, please don't think, because Lord knows I've been there, but I can tell you, you should start to look at yourself, right? Because people, we do have things happen to us,
Yeah.
but what we then certainly, if those things happen consistently, then does it come to a point to where you say, you know what, I'd like to get to a point where my cup runneth over in my saucer too, so that I can be the lender, not the giver, and not always be the one asking, right? And that's where the thin line gets for me. Like, if you find yourself in the same situation, let's say, you should not get lost going every day, going to work consistently. Say you start a new job, you should not every day, oh wow, I can't get here, right? So at some point you should say, what why do I keep ending up here, and what can I do to not have to? Because like Brandon said, I would want to work mine off, right? I would, hey, I need this, but how can I get it back to you, right? And then my pride has kept me sometimes from not asking, a lot of times, right? I guess that's what I'd call it. But then there are people who don't mind doing everything they want to do, buying everything they want to buy, and then coming to you to pay the light bill or their cell phone bill or whatever. So that's why I when I read this, I'm like, I'm not liking this one too much, because I'm just kind of over people being like what we talked about yesterday. The passage says that uh, those Americans who live within the limited means of public assistance experience a lifestyle far more comfortable than that of 40% of the free world. And people need assistance. I get that, but I'm not the only one has been in the line and think, hey, here I am buying some chicken because it's a little cheaper than that steak of the person in front of me, right? One or two $40, $50 steaks, you know, getting the assistance in selling the the food part of it, so that you can go buy something that um, you don't need, right? So I'm looking at the mindset. Certainly people need assistance, I believe in that, but I'm this is another person. This would be the guy who I run into out here, that took himself out there maybe with a bottle of alcohol and got stuck, in a different way. He bought this upon himself. Those are the people that I'm talking about, not the people who truly work their butts off and just find themselves in situations every now and then totally different.
Okay.
But I find people coming to me, like, I can't help but use this example because I felt some kind of way last night about getting a message. My hip hurt, ain't nothing I could do, because I'm offering, hey, I could get you a job. I can't do nothing. My hip hurt. I can't do nothing. My heart hurts from that statement. You know what I'm saying? So, because
Yeah,
people work
the
every day.
defeatism
Right, right. So,
of people,
right.
especially men.
Yeah, yeah,
Especially men. I personally am of the thought that the men should do the majority of the work as far as the physical work outside. And if the women choose to work, then that's fine. But that we have families to keep up with. We have homes to keep up with. Mom, you super bright. There you go. So it is of my opinion that the men should bear the brunt for a household. Individually, I mean, everybody do what they want, but it's particularly um, troubling to me when a man says, "Oh, well, I can't do anything," right? To automatically be in that defeatist form of thinking and thought process and way of approaching things, because it doesn't help anyone. Looks like we lost my mom there. I think she's getting her sunshine figured out there.
yeah. It's like it's following me. I keep moving, and I everywhere I go, it just like it's there. I
You want
close.
to take a second to just close the blinds?
I did close them. I took them up some, but it seems like it got even worse. Yeah, I will.
There she go. She gonna close the blinds, y'all. But y'all let us know in the comments, what do you think about this passage? And at what point, because I think this is two different situations. I think the global warming was speaking about a person in a dire situation, in a situation where they are it's a life or death situation. And in that situation, mom, you would I know you would stop for the person. I just know you would. I don't think you would pass
Oh
them up.
no, absolutely, totally
You know,
different.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So I think those are two different situations, but it does make us ponder at what are the limits of that, and when should self preservation be the intention, right? Like if I don't if I'm not able to get out, then how can I show you how? Unfortunately, it's we're in a position where we're in, right? Like we're like in the system. So if you're in the system, why would we depend on the system, expecting to get out of the system, right? So
Right.
for me, my goal is independence, right? My goal is independence. But here's the thing: we want all the bells and whistles. We want the materialism. We want everything to be new. We won't keep the same phone for 2 3 years. You know what I mean? And these are $1,000 phones, y'all.
Great
So
point there.
if you have an iPhone and you're asking somebody for money, I don't have no money for you. Go sell your phone. Like that's here's the thing: is like, what are we willing to sacrifice for what we want? What if you really need that? Maybe trade your phone in, and instead of having a $800-900 phone, you go get you a $200 phone, and even that's a lot when you really think about it, right? So I think it's our want for more that makes us feel like we're impoverished or puts us in poverty situations. Because I'm telling you, I do not look at the hood the same. It does not look poor to me anymore. It doesn't. It just doesn't. Well, look at that house. That house still got. I mean, there's some things that could be better on it, right? But that's a little woodwork right there. You got a hammer. You got some nails. You get some wood. Like we. One thing I see about immigrant communities when they come over is they are not afraid of work. They're not afraid of the self work. When they come to this country, they're expecting to work, right? But I think with us, we have a certain type of we have a certain animosity towards certain work. I'll never forget being in
Mm.
I think we're in South Memphis, helping doing a USDA certified organic farm in the middle of South Memphis, 38126, one of the poorest zip codes in America. And some of the children that were transient children, living from here and there, or whatever. I remember them, being so hungry. to where they wanted to go and they just pick carrots out of the ground in the garden. And it was for them anyway. But they hop the fence and pick carrots out of the garden to eat them because they were hungry. Or, but upon asking, hey, y'all want to do some work with us and some volunteer work here, planting the carrots, or doing some of the gardening, they would, but they would make jokes on each other like, look at you over there. Look, I mean, these are 7, 8-year-old kids, 9-year-old kids. Look at you over there looking like a slave. You see what I'm saying? Like and there was a almost a like a ridicule for doing any type of work, any type of labor. Right? There was a ridicule for putting your hands in the dirt. And to me, that sounds like generational trauma, right?
Mm.
Financial trauma. What does that financial trauma look like? Well, there's work and then there's being paid for your work. And for hundreds of years, our people were not paid for their work. And I think those sentiments can be trickled down in certain instances. And I don't think it was directly or I know during Reformation or Reconstruction, excuse me, uh, our people, one generation, 2 generations out of slavery, worked very hard and reached
Yeah.
some very high positions, from Frederick Douglass being U.S. Marshal to, people being in senators and congressmen and statesmen, things like that. But along the way, after Jim Crow and the crack epidemic and different things that are the same system that people are quote unquote depending on, that put these harmful things inside of our community, or pushed our community to these extremes, or redlined our banking institutions, or the opportunities from these banking institutions to give us higher interest rates with lower amounts. I think all of those things had something to do with it. And right now we're kind of dealing with an animosity toward the system itself until we're in front of it. And when we're in front of that system, oh yeah, yes sir, no sir, yeah, we want to do this, let me get this, let me get that. But when we go back home, oh, I can't stand it. So there's this double talk, right? This double consciousness.
Double living.
You're right. And there's this lack of true independence, right?
Hmm.
And by independence, I mean that as a group. And I think we should be interdependent, because as the African diaspora, I will say, um, we are a interdependent people. We are a tribal people where we prefer groups. We prefer to work together. Culturally, we prefer to eat together. We prefer to enjoy and have leisure together. We prefer to worship together. It would be easy to stay at home and not go to church or go to the mosque or whatever, but we prefer to do these things in congregation, right? So I think economics is the same and should be the same. But when it comes to economics, we become tight-fisted. We become stingy. We become beholden to it. And it's funny. I was just reading a hadith of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. I think it was narrated by Abu Hurairah, who said, that the time when you should be charitable is when you're stingy. Is when you're young, you're working to not be poor. You're working trying to make a name for yourself. You're working to try to be rich. You fear poverty. You fear that you might not have it. But that's the time to be charitable. And we learned that yesterday. But but the best charity is the charity you give to your family.
Mm.
Right? So yes, it's your
Brandon,
mhm.
can I say, because okay, so y'all think about this for a minute. Sometimes you'll give to a stranger before you'll give, or a friend before you give to a sister, right? So we got to start thinking about the mindset. And I'd also, before we like get off, Brandon,
Mhm.
happiness versus fulfillment, because this one says on the way to personal fulfillment, others have already helped you or will help you, many whom you couldn't repay or possibly repay, right? So when you talk about personal fulfillment, There are people, I looked this up and I want to read it. It says, unlike happiness, which is fleeting and difficult to attain, unlike happiness, which is fleeting and difficult to attain, meaning happiness, fulfillment is a state of being that is all about accepting who you are, being grateful for what you have, and remaining optimistic about the future. Because a lot of times, you guys, we get in situations where we need to ask for help because we're feeding the need to feel happy, our wants, not our needs, right? Because I don't need to go get these nails done, right? These toes, I don't need to. I want it, but why do I feel like I want it? Is it feeding my ego? Do you feel like it's going to help me? Do I feel like it's going to help me get something from and of the world, right? Because the minute you start focusing more on the things you need to be fulfilled for the world, you lose sight of yourself. And I feel like or believe that in people's asking, consistently asking, hey, I need help with this, I need help with this, and they never sit back to say, how can I be a better steward of what God has given me, right? How can I be grateful for what I have rather than always feeling like I need more? You may have a house that's small, comfortable, works good for you. But because a lot of people want, oh, I want a big house. Why do you want the big house? Because we lived 13 deep and then some. First one in, get the bed. So you're going to get home early so you can get the bed that night, right? And it seems the more we have become accustomed to being able to get by any means necessary, the worse we've become. Brandon spoke about we wanted to do these things together. I grew up when my grandmother got sick, her sisters came. They left their homes. They took, they rotated in coming to make sure their sisters were okay. Their husbands stepped in, stepped up. As Brandon said, Stella was sick yesterday. He had to find a way to fill in the gaps. Their sisters who left to come, the sister who left to come take care of the sister, the other ones made sure her home was okay. How did we lose that? And how do we keep that when someone is not sick? How do we just keep the barbecue going? You know, y'all try what I tried. Go to your family, even if it's 5 or 10 of them. Say, hey, you guys, let's get together and pool our money together. Let's put $20 a month in a pot. And at the end of the year, if no one has needed, we'll take a vacation together. We'll go out and get a good meal, talk, fellowship, spend some time together, and watch what happens. Watch what happens. Somebody try that today. And as I look at this passage, it's for a reason. The guy coming to me yesterday and last night, it's for a reason. Another family member coming to me for assistance, it's for a reason, right? Because I really feel like financially God is trying to move my family in a different direction as it relates to pooling our resources together, right? So when I read it this morning, I was like, interesting, God, interesting, because I'm in my feelings about how often and how boldly people just like, well, and just assume that you could just keep giving, giving, giving. Oh, I need this for this, and never really thinking about what have I done to get here. Because if you just sit back and follow your money will tell you where you are and where you've been and what really matters to you. And you should not be okay with always when something happens, right? That you always need to go to somebody. And that's the reason for the challenge. Because y'all, truth be told, if you're working every day and you don't have 20, $30 stuck somewhere, some follow your spending. Follow your spending, because there are some people that have made it off of a salary so small. I could show you two people.
I already know
When
you're
I
talking.
went asking them, how did y'all do it? We didn't live above our means. We didn't. And so now we can retire, right? I feel like we all have the ability to take care of ourselves. Follow your money. Take inventory of what you buy, when you buy it. And not only that, why do you feel the need to buy it? Knowing that you can't afford it and that you're okay, you know, with showing up suited and booted up and asking for some money for your bills. There's a quote, and I'll turn it over so we can get out of here, that says, don't buy your wants and come to me for your needs. Y'all get that? Don't buy the things you want and then go to people to accommodate your needs. And we'll get mad because people are like, no, can't keep doing this. We ain't gonna do, like Brandon said, no. You just said, what do you do? Brandon says, just say no.
You know,
Right. And
what's the back of the
again,
book say? When to say yes.
there you go. There
Just
you
say.
go. And again, you guys, not throwing shade on people who really get in situations in need, right? I've been there. But I'll tell you one thing, and I was thinking about when I read this, how, matter of fact, Mr. Russell, that was on the other day from North Carolina, for those of you who may have saw it, I'll never forget. His wife walked over one day and knocked on the door and said, God told me to come. She was the lady. Come over and give this to you. And I had nothing. I had nothing. So I'll say this: love and seek God. Make that the most important. We had one the other day, Brandon, that said that make your my top priority is to align myself with the Father of creation. And when you do that, y'all, most cases you won't even have to ask. God knew I had a need, and she sent my neighbor over. She's like, God told me to come over, and she gave me $20. And that $20 took care of my need for that day, right? So let's stop chasing things and people and understand the difference between happiness and fulfillment. I'll read it again and I'm going to turn it over to Brandon. Unlike happiness, which is fleeting and difficult to attain, right? Fulfillment is a state of being that is all about accepting who you are, your true goals, right? I'll add that in. Being grateful for what you have and remaining optimistic about the future. That's it. It's kind of like joy and excitement for me. I'm not excited about a lot of things, but I find joy in many things. And most of the time, it's the small things that people don't even recognize are there, right? I find joy in seeing grandbabies evolve, learn new words, understand the meaning of things, right? So if there's a difference, there's a difference. So global warming, I don't know. I don't know. Over to you, Brandon.
Thank you, Mom. Appreciate it, y'all. I think it's just a matter of being discerned.
Hmm.
Not one size fits all. Some people need massage to get their body back working. Some people need a job. Some people need some motivation. Some people need a smile, and some people need a no. So the title today was Global Warming, and Joshua L. Smith, founder of the Maxima Corporation, said, "As we make it, we've got to reach back and pull up those left behind." um, Today, I will find and help someone in need of my support. By helping others, I will help myself. Okay, that's the affirmation for today. Today, I will find and help someone in need of my support. By helping others, I will help myself. The only thing I'll add to that is be discerned about who you help. Be discerned. Make it
Yeah.
a practice of giving charity, but don't let your charity be dumb charity. Don't even give frivolously. Give intentionally, right? I think this will help us all. So as you go out there and if you take this affirmation and you seek to help someone in need of your support, and think that by helping others you will help yourself. Make sure that you help yourself by helping others, by making sure that where your money goes is in a good place. It's a seed. You ever heard like we're gonna seed this corporation or seed this new business? Seeding is a responsibility. You don't plant in barren ground. When you get your seed, you find good soil or you amend the soil so that it can accept a seed and the seed can take root and grow. But that's the responsibility of the person laying the seed. You don't just go willy-nilly throwing seeds out there.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So,
And
Brandon, I do
another
have
thing,
a few comments before
okay,
you
yeah,
end. Okay.
sure.
Did you finish? Did you get to finish up there?
I pretty much, yeah, I
Okay.
read the affirmation.
Okay. So Big Mike says, good morning. Mark Walker, good to see you back, my brother. He says, morning, morning. Brother Trent, can't call it Mike Spollet, is in the house, says, good morning with us, or to us. Big Mike says, both my hips were messed up, but I pushed through. I told him the same thing, sis. So yeah, you know who I'm talking about. Um, and not throwing shade, y'all. It is time to be brutally honest with people because I want you to be that way with me, right? I went into the prayer closet this morning. Woe, it's me, Father God. Show me myself in these situations where I may be prejudging or feeling some kind of way about what people should do because only you know what they are doing, right? So that I don't want to miss out on being a blessing to anyone, but I don't want to continue to feel like a fool. Because if the only time I hear from you, that's another thing, is when you need something. Come on now. Can you just say, "Hey, how you doing?"
Right.
Right? Sometimes, but it's interesting that sometimes you only come up when people come up in the mind of people when they need something or they're going through something. You know. So, oh, Jim Brown, Brandon, you remember Jim Brown? He says, "How are y'all doing?" From way back when we were doing the whatever you do.
I do. I do remember Jim Brown.
I can't remember what we were doing. We were doing something together we were doing something in the community.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Wow. What's up,
yeah,
Jim?
long
Doing good.
time. KL says good morning, talk, and KL says good morning, y'all. And then let's see, KL says the Sharon spells it mama, not mama. Confirmation. What is he talking
I have no idea. I have
about?
no idea.
All right, KL, we have no idea, but thank you for that. All right, so that's all I have. Thank you for those who are out there on YouTube with us, Instagram. You have anything from there, Brandon?
I don't. I don't. It has
All right,
people.
so we'll bring it to a close, y'all.
But that's it. Y'all, thank you so much for coming in on this day 197. I hope y'all got something useful from it, enjoyed the passage, or enjoyed some of the insights. And if you didn't, leave us a message in the comment. Tell us what we can do better or what you would like to see more on the show. We will be back here tomorrow for day 198 on the In This Season podcast. Make sure you go to the YouTube channel. I just looked on there, and the people on Facebook ain't on there. I need y'all to go. We got all these people on the Facebook. I need y'all to go over to the YouTube and like and subscribe to the channel and turn on those notifications. It helps us out. So I don't see anybody that's liked it just like I don't know if anyone's liked it yet, but we don't have as many people on there as we do on the Facebook. So do us a favor and go do that right now if you can. We appreciate y'all. Come back tomorrow, same time, same place for the In This Season podcast, day 198.